What's up, everyone? Welcome to the High Passion Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel K., and I'm here with another great guest, the Plant Apprentice.
How's it going, guys?
The Plants Apprentice is a cannabis photographer, and we're going to talk about his life journey and how he found his passion of cannabis photography. Let's get into it. Thanks for coming out. It's been awesome talking to you on Instagram, getting to know you a little bit, seeing your work. Pictures you got here are fucking awesome, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Micro photography of some cannabis bud. Fucking beautiful. The trichromes are popping.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Let's talk about your introduction to cannabis and, you know, your life story, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting into cannabis, it was around my family a lot when I was younger. I kind of held it more with a stigma because it was around my dad, it was around my brother, around people in my community. So at the time when I was younger, I held it more like actual drugs, kind of like a lot of people do now.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan until a couple of years down the road would be the first time. At first, it was a big problem between me, my brother, and my mom. We'd be fighting all the time. So it was a big thing where my mom was like heavy against it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which later in the story is going to be a big turnaround. But so they were very much not okay with it. My dad and brother consumed, which caused a big split in the household for a while, which kind of left me feeling like, is it drugs? Is it okay? You got all these teenagers doing it. My friends are starting to do it at high school as I'm starting to get older.
Yeah.
I was always a skateboarding kid ever since really young. So everybody at the skate park, as you know.
Yeah,
I mean?
skate life.
Right. So just kind of, I was always around it. Right. So,
yeah.
There was no reason for me to hold it in that regard other than the stigma that already existed, basically. Right.
Yeah.
It's not like I saw it cause any harm to my family. It didn't cause any harm to anybody around me. If anything, it made people happy. Right.
But at first that you saw it in that other light, you know, you put it in that other category just because you didn't know as much about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, we are talking really young, so like grade 7, 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when I really wasn't feeling it. Like I genuinely thought I like would never touch anything in my life, right? Like even alcohol, I wasn't really excited about as a kid. So like, I was that kind of kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So against it.
I had lots of friends like that. Most of my friends when I was smoking when I was younger would tell me, you know, I'm never going to smoke. And then grade 9 rolls around and...
That's right, exactly. As soon as you hit high school,
things start changing,
exactly, man. Right, exactly. So for me, I went through high school actually interacting with a lot of it, but I didn't actually... consume it myself until the end of high school.
Yep.
Up until that point, I was just holding it for people more or less. So if I was in the school and somebody grabbed or whatever, throw it in my locker. You know, it's a safe spot. You know what I mean?
Well, good friend.
So it was just that kind of deal. Because like as much as I held it in a regard where I felt like it was drugs, I also just like don't really, not to say I don't conform well to rules, but like I was always like a big kid where I don't really believe if something's not right that it should be forced. So like making weed illegal isn't right, so it shouldn't be forced, right? Whether I'm consuming it or not. So I felt that was wrong even at the time. Like these kids shouldn't be punished for this. They're literally kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
especially the way they're punishing, not educating.
Especially back then. Like I know it wasn't too long ago before legalization, but it was, you know what I mean? Kids are
different
still
time,
right? So
different time, bro.
So would do that throughout high school, just carry it for them or whatever. And after high school, around grade 12, is the first time I decided to try it.
Okay.
Through high school, I wasn't really a passionate kid. Couldn't really find a class to stick to, couldn't find anything I enjoyed, couldn't find an avenue or route to go down per se.
Yeah.
Was kind of just working dead-end jobs, so on.
Trying to find yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it kind of led into smoking cannabis just because, I didn't have anything else to do. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like you're
bored.
skating, you're around it all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking for new experiences, whatever. But at the same time, like I was struggling a little mentally, like wasn't really... doing the best that I could do because I was a kid and I didn't really understand the world per se, right? So, I mean, I still don't understand the world, right?
I was just going to say I don't.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, definitely that was a leading cause to get me into it. So, one of the first things was my friend that finally made the jump. And my friend wanted to grab a nicotine vape, and I hate nicotine, man.
Yes.
Don't even get me started.
Against nicotine here. Yes.
So I told him, I was like, all right, man, like at least like if you're getting something to take the edge off, at least get high. You know what I mean? At least, right? Don't just
get something from it.
You know, hit that nicotine 15 minutes later, hit it again. Now you're addicted. Congrats, right? Like have a great time. No, like I told him, let's grab some weed. So that was the first time. And I ended up smoking with my girlfriend that time. And we rolled, it was something like 8 joints. And
wow.
We smoked them all over the course of 2 days. So one weekend, and it was like 4 and 4. And we did not get high.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And bro, you hear either you get wrecked or you don't feel that at all your first time.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what that is, man. It'd be interesting to like really figure that out. Like, what is going on?
It is so weird. I mean, I've heard that it's like the brain just literally does not understand what to do with it when it hits you. So it's kind of like either we go panic mode or we go, I'm just going to get rid of this altogether. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, literally. Kind of makes sense, but like, who really knows?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
If anyone out there does know,
please
let us know.
Yeah, for real. So we didn't get high at all. And then after that, probably maybe about a year later, somewhere around there, half year, something like that, me and the same buddy grabbed again, and me and him smoked this time. And that was a scene. So that time it hit us for sure. We didn't even last a night. My mom found out like night 1 that we smoked. We were like
got that fried.
Yeah, it was like impaired. You know what I mean? Like,
do you have any idea like what type of bud you were smoking, or was it just a bag you could get off the local guy?
Exactly, man. Exactly. Just grabbed it off a guy I went to school with and smoked it.
Yeah.
It was better than the last stuff. I can say that much, right? But
looking at it compared to now, do you have any comparison?
Honestly, similar.
Wow.
I mean, it's not your stuff. It's not, you know what I mean? But when you buy some legal weed, it's kind of like you buy like the $25, $30 legal weed.
Similar to that type of weed.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I could say we were probably getting the same type of shit, man.
Exactly.
Fuck. Just lots of China bud and lots of bud like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Just kind of average, right?
Yeah. It's all who would give us the good stuff.
The good stuff. Yeah, right? Exactly. So smoked that. Got way too impaired. Some stupid shit went down. Ended up getting home. Was so high that we were trying to play video games with the TV off. We like walked into the pantry, knocked the whole pantry down.
Oh my god!
That's how my mom found out because everything fell right. She's like, "Those damn McNerney kids! Like another one down." Literally exact quote. I hered her say it upstairs, and I was like, "Fuck! Like we got to get out of here, man." So the first time didn't hit. Second time hit.
Hard.
And after hard. No shit, eh? After the second time though, it kind of just became like I don't know what happened, but a switch just turned, and it's like I'm gonna be the next Snoop Dogg, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
wanted to really get into it.
So like growing up, kids always like the long hair. They would always pin me as that kid. The teachers, like authority, cops. I was always dealing with that shit, right?
Yeah.
So
it's another stereotype, you know. And
it almost felt like I was like supposed to be in there. You know what I mean? Everybody already pushed me that way. I was hanging with those friends. I was with the skaters. I was with the stoners. I was, you know.
Everything was just adding up around you, compiling around you.
It was only a matter of time, right? So I got into it and got into it pretty heavy. I started smoking really consistently after that, like daily consumption. Again, at this point, I would say it was for mental health, as I was saying, but it kind of becomes a point where it doesn't really benefit you anymore. So as I was saying at the start, I was a little bit passionless and lost, and it kind of kept me there, if that makes sense. So
it does.
I wasn't really excited to go try out new things other than just smoking. Like, let's go smoke somewhere new or whatever. Right?
Yeah, let's go here and smoke.
Yeah. So once I started smoking a little bit more and getting more into it, my friends around me were smoking and everything, and we started getting into sketchy situations. Like with my brother, one time, he went to go grab, and the people he was grabbing off, they were in a kitchen in some little duplex or whatever.
Yeah.
And somebody just ended up stabbing somebody right beside him with a fork, just like out of nowhere, right? Like it's just that type of shit,
Just
you know?
sketchy area, sketchy people.
Man, crazy. I mean, it's Burlington too, right? So like it's nice enough area, but you go anywhere and you have
Of course.
weird enough people, right? So
100%.
then it kind of became this thing where like, if we have these weird people here anyway, and we have to basically be treated like a criminal to associate with them, we may as well just cut them out and not associate with them, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So that led into one of my family members connecting us with somebody that he knew from back in the day that was growing for a long time.
Got you.
So that was my dad's friend that hooked us up. And that was my first introduction into like bulk cannabis.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody...
And getting away from like the more street side of it, you know?
Exactly.
Getting into meeting a farmer.
Yeah. So
you know?
in that way, I was getting out of the danger, and then I was getting to see because I never got to see the production side of cannabis, right? So it gave me the ability to see how it's grown, all that, everything, as well as get it safely, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which was the big thing. So that was a really, really big plus. And then through him and through a website in British Columbia, I ordered my first couple pounds.
Oh, wow.
Got it shipped to me. And started grabbing off a couple different people in the area or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, at the time, I was just working minimum wage jobs. And like I said, at this point, I was just smoking pretty much every day, nonstop.
So you're chopping to supply your habits basically at that point,
exactly,
you know?
Right?
I think we all did that at that time of our lives, bro. Like, where else were we getting the money?
Exactly.
I know you didn't come up from a privileged family like that, and like I didn't either myself.
Exactly.
So it's I wish, you know, that we didn't necessarily have to do that, but that's our story, man. And it's awesome to hear.
Had to be a part of the community. I mean, once you're kind of in it, you're in it, right? Like once you've decided to go that avenue and smoke so much that you have that much, you know, like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole story. You can kind of see where it's going, right?
Exactly.
It was pretty inevitable that I would end up in that way, doing that. So I joined the community and started just trying to supply enough so I had freedom, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to find something I was passionate about, because working at KFC and Dollarama and all these places was stressful and depressing, right?
Yeah.
Like it felt like I was going nowhere in life.
The retail grind, man.
You know what I mean?
If you have to do it, don't get me wrong, nothing against it.
Yeah.
It's a great starting point to make some money while you have to, but
when you're there long term, man, it can be stressful, right?
For sure.
So it was nice to get it, and minimum wage too, right? So just constantly dealing with that. And it's not like I was making much more money than minimum wage. It would have been close. It would have been, you know what I mean? Like pretty much a compromise, but I got my freedom. I got time, right? That's the difference, which allowed me to figure out things that I was passionate about or whatever, right? So around that time, I started watching things like Mr. Canucks Grow and things like that.
Okay.
Different home growers, different extractionists, things like that.
Where were you finding them? On like Instagram back then?
YouTube.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if they were even able to be on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't think so back then. Yeah, I would have been struck immediately.
Yeah. Even now it's hell.
Yeah, man. Don't even get me started. But yeah, they were awesome. And I was really, really into them, really obsessed with them. And I didn't have a grow. I didn't have any extracting equipment. Again, I had just gotten into weed a couple of years prior. Right?
Yeah.
So I just found this shit fascinating, basically. Started nerding out, reading books on endocannabinoid systems, terpenes, like soil life, whatever.
Really learning about cannabis, man.
It was really cool. It was genuinely awesome to learn. And it wasn't even really about like the getting high aspect. And that's what like my parents were starting to understand. Like I care about like the medical part and the science behind it, the soil health. Like it's not just like how high, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
which is what a lot of people assume. And it's part of what we're trying to fight here.
Exactly.
Is that stigma, you know, like it's not all just about getting high. And I always say it's, you know, it's not for everybody. It's for some people. And if it's used the right way, it can be a beautiful thing. Yeah. And no matter what, it is a beautiful plant.
Honestly, man.
Look at this.
And it's so beneficial, right? right? Like, cannot complain.
Yeah. Well, while we're talking about it, let's fucking smoke some weed.
Yeah,
Let's roll some
absolutely,
up. I've got some greasy runs here and some pink gas there that I grew myself that I want you to check out.
Absolutely.
I know you brought your dab rig here and a bunch of jars. I got some extracts from Xylem Extracts. I saw them over at the Lifted Markets. Some fucking dope people there.
Yeah, they're awesome. Awesome guys.
Dope people. This is their green crack and it's fucking gassy, bro.
Wicked.
Don't usually get the gas in that.
Ooh. This is
Yeah,
yours,
so
eh?
that's the pink gas, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's the pink gas. And then this is the greasy runs. Both of those were grown in the room that we are now turning into a podcast studio. Yeah, so it was a small, 36 plant operation on a perpetual cycle, but man, I dialed it in for a while, and I think I did a good job.
Man, it smells incredible. You got the cure down for sure. I can say that's the hardest part for me. And
hardest part.
I can tell that cure is there.
The thing is, and I'll show you when I show you the podcast studio room, is I had a whole separate room that was built like my grow that was for my drying room. It had a dehum, a humidifier, an AC, fans,
Damn.
like everything that you put in a grow tent, you put in your drying room to get full control. And it was all on Trollmaster. So like it was, I was like a $10,000 setup in total, the whole grow there.
Wow.
But yeah, man, fuck, that's my passion. But I love that you're getting it. You got into it the way you talk about it, man. Fucking
man.
Beautiful.
Hey,
let's roll some of this up. If you want to heat up the rig there, fucking take a dab.
Absolutely. I'll be honest with you. Probably not the thing to admit as a stoner, but had a little heart attack when I saw those rolling papers. I cannot roll the joint.
That's fine. I can roll a fatty up for us and we'll share it and fucking smoke some dabs.
My dad has like sat me down and tried and man, like you think video games get you angry? Holy shit.
For me, it was my brothers. They forced it on me, and
Fair.
if I wanted to smoke, I was fucking rolling.
Yeah,
so fuck.
Yeah, I was always a bong kid. Did a lot of bongs for like 5-6 years. Like we're talking like when I say I smoked a lot, right? Like,
yeah.
It was getting up to like 50 or 60 tokes a day, like just in a day.
Of bong rips.
Yeah. It got to the point where it started to like cause like issues in my body.
I was just gonna ask that. Did you ever get issues with like the lung butter?
So
because that's what I started getting, and that's why I switched off bongs myself.
My big issue was my stomach was the main thing. So like how when you take the bong, the constant like high pressure suction that, you know what I mean, and it's like you can kind of feel the knot in your stomach when you do it. I think it was constantly doing that. And the doctors did also say that it was most likely due to that as well. I do also have a very spicy diet, so
fair enough.
It's a mix of the two things, is what they told me. But I ended up getting like I was told a hernia, I was told an ulcer, I was told a couple things by different doctors, but I believe myself it's because of the bong, because when I cut the bong out, like I do dabs now, I do joints, you know what I mean? I'm all good. So it's not...
You think it was more the excessiveness?
I was about to get to that. It's not that you can't rip a bong and be healthy. It's that you can't abuse a bong and be healthy, right?
Absolutely.
If you're going to be that passionless kid that's ripping weed all day, you can't be doing it out of something that's so tough on your stomach that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're probably not smoking a small bong, because that's what happens when you get into bongs. You get into the bigger ones, and then... my problem with bongs is the maintenance, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta clean it so much and take care of it. And like, I can roll a joint, smoke it, and it's gone. Yeah. It's gone. It's perfect.
Bring it with you anywhere. You're all good.
Light it and it's good, I actually had a really nice Illadelph, 9mm Illadelph.
Oh, nice.
And I fucking shattered it after like 8 years, bro. Just like 3-4 months ago.
That fucking sucks. I mean, 8 years
sad day.
It,
yeah, it came through a lot with me, so I'm not upset with it. I'm probably gonna send it off to get repaired, but
I'm not an expensive glass guy myself. My brother went through 3 short Sheldon glasses, they were called.
Oh, Sheldon Black.
Yeah, Sheldon Black.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That was in a span of 2 months or something like that. So I've learned my lesson. I'm good.
Listen, when I was like in high school and really into fucking like smoking bongs like crazy, I went through so many like $200-$300 bongs. It was ridiculous. But once I got out of that phase and became more responsible, I was like, okay, I can invest in like one nice one, and especially since it was 9 mil, it was super
Pretty
thick, so
yeah.
it lasted. It was worth it in my opinion, because
Yeah.
I would have bought 6 bongs in that period
time
of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
So what is that? What is that little dab rig there? I haven't seen that one before.
This is the Shenzhen Core Crossing 2, Shenzhen Crossing Core 2, something like that.
Okay.
It's by Shenzhen Crossing, and it's the second version. I have some product photography I shot for the store that I got it from, actually. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Really nice little unit. I've never had a dab rig before. I've always been a torch and nail.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, but I mean, man, I don't know about you, but chazzing those things, like it got to the point where like I'd go to, like, I just shot the Heady Dab Supply event the other day, and I'd show up and they'd be like, "You gonna take a dab?" And it's like, not in front of you professionals. I'm not. Like,
see, that's literally like, bro, I have a Mimsy dab rig that's put away, but like all the quartz is chazzed. I don't want to put that on camera.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that. We'll just move on from this, and I'll get better at dabbing apparently.
Same boat.
All right, man. So I rolled up some of the greasy runts. It's a hybrid, not as heavy as the gas. It's my favorite smoke right now. So
awesome.
Get it started.
Sounds good. Yeah. So saw the cannabis setups. And after that, I started to get more passionate about it. As I said, I was learning, like studying books, the Grower's Bible, yada yada.
Shout out the Grower's Bible.
Yeah, no
if anybody's getting into growing, read the fucking Grower's Bible. It will teach you so much you don't even know you need to know.
And the Jeff Lowenfellow trilogy, the Teaming with Microbes or whatever. I'm all Living Soil, right?
Nice.
Yeah, that was the big one for me. So that stuff like that really kind of pushed me in that direction. And then I believe it was the summer of legalization, 2017, right?
2018.
2018.
October 2018.
Yeah.
Before legalization.
Right before legalization is when I finally got the urge to start putting some plants out, like putting the knowledge to use.
Throw some plants in the ground.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe at the time that I started doing it, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe at the time it was announced that it was going legal. As far as I remember, it's just I kind of like, it had been so long in my life of smoking weed. We always joked about growing and throwing the seeds down in the backyard and hiding it from my mom. You know what I mean? So I kind of was just like, fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Fuck it.
So yeah, I threw some down and then got lucky. It ended up being legal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I threw more than the legal amount.
Told everyone you put 4 in the ground.
I put closer to like 50 something, but
fuck yeah. That's how we all did it, man.
You know. So it was fun, really fun. It was a really good learning experience. Right out the gate, I realized that I do love the growing, but I didn't really love growing somebody else's gear, seeds.
Oh.
I kind of wanted to do my own thing, right? So that was my very first passion. Like after finding my passion for cannabis, as you could say, I guess, just smoking it and whatever.
Yeah. And just enjoying the beauty of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? My very first real passion that I got into after learning and everything was the breeding. Like actual, like full-on breeding, making it as stable as you can, whatever, right?
Yeah. That's actually something I've never gotten into, breeding myself. You know, I've popped a lot of seeds, but I've never chucked any pollen.
Yeah, which is funny because most growers tell me that are on the grower side, and I assume because of that you cut clones all the time, right?
All the time.
I've never cut clones.
Yeah, we always cut clones. Clones, bro. Mom plants and clones are bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's the only way to run a perpetual garden.
With all my friends, like hydroponic spots and everything, it's the same deal. Yeah. But yeah, not with mine. I got a lot of pollen going on there. You don't want to come anywhere near mine, right? So.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So what would have been the first like project you did, I guess?
To be honest with you,
breeding project.
Yeah. I really only have one, to be honest. So
okay,
it takes a seriously long time to actually breed a stable genetic.
That's why I've never gotten into it.
Exactly. And to be honest, I'm glad I did still, on one hand, because I have my own, I have the final goal. I have my own thing I get to grow, which is awesome, right?
Yeah, no one else has that.
On the other hand, it's not really that good.
That's part of it though, right? Like, and that is why a lot of growers don't breed, is because it's a big investment, takes up a lot of space and a lot of time, and you never know if you're going to get a winner.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And there's so much going into it, because like you guys are pheno hunting on your end for the best mother plant or the best keeper or whatever, right? I have to do that for the mother plant, and I have to do that for the father plant. So the space that it takes up just to do that, and then breeding them and keeping them alive, going through the next rounds, F1, F2, so on, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like it's tough.
You gotta track it all.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like when I say I did one genetic, I really, like, it took 6 years and I really did one genetic. You know what I mean?
But did it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See, and there's a lot of breeders out there that don't. You just release product, right?
Yeah. And I wouldn't.
And then we have to deal with it in the end, right?
Yeah, the grower, exactly. Yeah. And I would never, like, even the stress test, like, I push it so far. My mom, like, she's a big plant person, and again, she doesn't love weed, but man, she like loves the little plants. And when I put them through the stress test, ripping up the roots, putting ice in the soil, whatever, putting them in the dark for 3 weeks, whatever, she's like, please, like, you're
Stop.
like, it's like, no, you don't understand.
You're hurting them.
If I don't do this and I give it to them, it's gonna harm, and
and then we don't know, then it's technically, like, I would feel bad, not some people can listen, as long as you're honest about it, it is what it is in the end of the day, because then at least I know what I'm buying. If I know I'm buying regulars and hunting regulars that are not hunted, then
exactly
that's
right?
fine.
Exactly.
That's my own doing. But it's when you say that it's a F1 or whatever you want to call it, and it's not. That's when it's frustrating.
Yeah. Especially when it's not a true, because you can breed something one time and then release it, and it's just a cross pollen jug. Right?
Yeah, exactly,
so
exactly.
Very,
but just
very
advertise
easy.
it that way.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. Cool. So you started growing yourself. I know you told me.
That's really good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
Good.
You told me something happened the first time that you put plants out.
Yeah. So very first time I put plants out, I put the 50 whatever plants out, and they were all in my backyard. And a couple, maybe 3 weeks before harvest season, something like that, there were a lot of autoflowers, couple photo periods. It was getting into late October, and somebody hopped my fence and threw dirty motor oil all in the plants, threw it in the soil, threw it on the plants.
Yummy.
They hit everything. Like they hit the vegetables too. So like I was, you know what I mean? It kind of, I didn't know if it was like more going for the property or going for us, because like it's one thing to do it to the weed, you're sending a message, but you're doing it to the vegetables. Now it's like we might have ate those, what I'm saying?
Fuck you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, fuck that
whoever
guy.
did that, fuck you.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It honestly pushed me to like, I saw all those plants die that I didn't breed, and got so excited to create my own thing based off that, right? Like it kind of put a fire under me.
Lit
where
the
it's
fire,
like,
man.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you, man. Like you think you can kick me when I'm down? Like I'm gonna grow double next year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. That's that fucking energy, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that was wicked. And I really got into breeding from there. And after getting into breeding, I got like presses and hash bags.
Got into doing the extractions.
Yeah. So
just because you had your own flower, right?
Yeah. So up until this point, I might have worked a little part-time here and there, just retail, like I said. But for the most part, up until this point, we're still supplying everything we're doing, buying the bags, buying the press, everything off just being a part of the community, moving whatever, right? Doing what we do. So that was really cool, just getting the freedom to do whatever I wanted with that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the rosin really became a passion from there, which is why I love the rosin pictures so much. Like it became a big thing. The hash I hate. I'll put that out there. I absolutely hate making the hash. Big headache.
Like bubble hash.
Yeah. Big headache. The dry sift hash is fun and cool.
Bubble hash is fine if you have all the expensive equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like if you have the money for it, then no problem.
You got a freeze dryer? Cool.
Exactly. Right?
Cool.
But if you got the paddle and the 5 gallon...
A lot of work. Still fun to do every once in a while, though.
Yeah, definitely. So that became the next big passion, just doing that. And then everybody around me started kind of picking up on the business because now I was doing a couple different things, right? Doing the extracts, doing the grow, whatever, doing my own
just
seeds.
expanding your market basically by making it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And then somewhere around that time, I believe is where we're at. I was walking through the house and I dropped a receipt in the house.
Gotcha.
And that receipt had all the bank information of all the things that were going on. And my mom picked up that receipt. So she had been on to me for a good while, trying to catch me in the act. She knew I was leaving the house like 10 times a day, 20 times a day, like whatever, right? And kid didn't have a car, so something was up, obviously.
Yeah. She just didn't have the proof.
Exactly.
And now she did.
And a couple times she did. And, I had to argue my way out of it, and I got out of it. But when there's concrete physical proof from your bank account with your name on it, you're kind of a little bit of an idiot on that one, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, so after that, I thought it was going to be a big thing, especially because of how much they hated weed, right? So now it went from consuming something that, in my mom's eyes, and when I was younger, my eyes, a drug, to supplying it, right? In her eyes, like that was like serious, right?
Yep.
So everything kind of went off the rails.
Kind of had to lay back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was feeling a little guilty about it all. So she was pretty pressuring me pretty hard to not be in that environment anymore, because mostly because it was unfair to my brothers was a big part of it. She didn't want anything happening to the house. She didn't want anything happening to them. You know what I mean? It's one thing to take on the risk yourself. It's different when you're, It's
a fair point as a parent, man.
It is. It's not like I didn't understand. So as soon as it happened, it was like, all right, like, I guess this is where I move out, is what I said. And they were like, no, like, you don't have to move out. It's okay. Like, you just have to stop or whatever, right? Yeah. So they're easy with it. It's not how I thought it was going to go if it ever got caught, because that weighed on me, right? Like, for a long time. And it's just weed. And you shouldn't have to, in my opinion, it shouldn't have to weigh on you like that. It should be a free market. It's just flower. It's just plants.
Absolutely. You should have been able to start a business and done it that way.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed. And even now, it's fucking impossible to. I was impossible.
I was just kind of that rebellious kid, right? Where I didn't really want to go. Like I said, if something wasn't something that I agreed with, like making weed illegal, then I don't agree with it, right? You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I view it. Like fuck a law. Like if it's obviously, like, I respect it, but like if it's something that I disagree with, and
then fuck it.
You know what I mean? It's the same way I'm gonna break a rule at school. Like I can't smoke in the smokers lot. Okay, well, guess what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then right around that time, basically right after that is when COVID hit, basically. Right?
So I did look a little into trying to monetize the business officially through different avenues in Mississauga, using like the small business young entrepreneur things like that. Told me they didn't want
services, but they don't like cannabis.
Exactly. Yeah, they didn't want anything to do with me.
I went through the same services.
Yeah. Tough deal. I mean, lovely people. Like
they just don't want anything to do with cannabis.
Can't touch it. Yeah, exactly. Especially at the time, right?
Same with the banks, generally speaking, as well.
Yeah. I mean, especially back then when I was breeding.
Better now.
My God, man! Like it was e-transfer or nothing, right? Yeah. So, but that was a big part too. And that kind of pushed me to expand the business until I got caught. Yeah. Once I got caught, I was kind of, like I said, guilted to get rid of the money, which is what I did. Broke some off to my brothers, who ended up actually turning around and giving it to my mom. I had a conversation with my brother saying that me and my mom feel like it's unfair that I've been making this money while you guys have been working constantly and so on, right? Even though it wasn't much money, I was actually making less money than my older brother. But it's
just the principle.
It's the principle,
right?
100%. Yeah, so I went to my older brother. I don't involve my little brother in any of this. He's not much younger. He's like 22. Yeah. But I don't involve him in any of this. So I went to my older brother and said, here's enough cash to give to you and the little one and whoever else, like, spread it around. He ended up just taking it. He said it made him, like, he was uncomfortable taking it because he said, I took the risk. It was my choice, right? So he gave the money, tried to give the money back. I wouldn't take it. Gave the money to my mom.
Full circle.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of the money went into seeds. I wanted to preserve whatever I could,
Genetics,
essentially.
you could.
Yeah, exactly. So I just put it into seeds. I was still passionate about breeding. I still loved weed. I still loved like growing, extracting, breeding, everything. It's just I couldn't I couldn't supply everything I do off of it anymore, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's not like everything else ended. It's just that had to end.
So then you started working at as a bud tender.
Yeah. First job was Canna Cabana. Just a small little shop. That was a really cool intro into it because I just got to stick with the weed still. I was really like heavily against legal. I mean, obviously, like I was in the community, I was growing, I was whatever. So obviously against legal weed.
Can't beat them, join them though.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So I had to jump in, and it was a scene. Bud tending's a scene for sure. I'm still a bud tender, so it's
okay.
It's different for sure. And
at least you get to be involved with the industry and people that love the plant in the end of the day.
That's the idea, right? So the teams you work with and the customers that come in are awesome people, right? That's the awesome part. Getting to educate people and things like that. I love that, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely loved getting into the industry in that way and just getting to take my knowledge from all the books and all that stuff, all of my experience, and then start dumping it into that. So I worked there for a year, and then after that, I started attending a couple events, found out about a couple events like Kind Festival. There's Surprise and Delight series, a couple other ones that were just going around Toronto. And
Kind's happening this weekend. Oh, sorry, as we're recording.
Kind actually got canceled today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you go. I didn't know that. I guess because the rain?
The rain, yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So went to a couple of those and found out about that through other people that I worked with, which was really cool because I'd never experienced anything legal-wise like that.
Yeah, the cannabis markets.
Yeah. There was one time, I did forget to mention, I guess, the Diamond Cannabis Cup in 2017.
Pre-legalization.
Pre-legalization.
Those markets were the best.
Yeah, so there was a couple that I went to.
All of them were the best.
Wicked, yeah. Some of the same people that go there, they go to the Canna Crawl where I got the dabs and stuff. So like wicked community, they're still involved. You know what I mean? Like it's that's always where my passion was. Once I hit those events, like those smaller ones with the niche audience, with the community base, it's not necessarily about being B2B and trying to, you know what I mean? No. It's not grow up. It's not these, which I love those too.
You really feel the community in those.
You know what I'm saying? Like Karma Cup and all those.
You really do. You really feel it. I've always made a point to get out to them if I can.
Yeah, that's where I saw you the first time. I shot a photo of you.
Yeah. I saw that, bro. It's fucking awesome. I was like, he reached out to me. Oh, look, he has a picture of me. That's fucking awesome.
I was like going through editing the photos, and I was like, that says High Passion Podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Marketing works. Marketing works. Wear your own merchandise, people. So yeah, you were doing the dispensary, and then. From there, you became a manager at another dispensary.
Yeah. So from there, I went on, did the couple events and got my feet wet with the events, just kind of started to realize they exist, basically.
Yeah.
And then I jumped into the next job, which I was assistant manager at that one.
Okay.
And at that one, I like really went into the events. I mean, I was at the store like 24/7, which allowed me the opportunity to meet the sales reps and everybody else.
Gotcha. All the connections, right?
Exactly.
And then other people from the markets.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was already starting to make some connections from Canna Cabana and things like that. Starting to learn the sales reps in the area or whatever. But when I got to the next job,
Did you want more of that?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Appreciate it, man. As I started to get more involved, I started to meet more and more people. And that was really cool. That was a really good intro into cannabis, more so than the Canna Cabana. Just because it got me so involved. I met my first hosting company through that dispensary. Like I was working at it when they came by to promote their event.
Gotcha.
And they told me they needed a photographer. I said, oh, hey, I'm a photographer, right? So
you were just getting into photography at that point?
I just bought my camera. I think it was actually that month, to be honest with you, or something like that.
Because you kind of just got into it out of nowhere, you were saying.
Yeah. So after working there for a little bit, we're talking very quick. Like I worked there for 2 months, maybe even 1 month, and then I always had a passion for the photography.
Yeah.
Starting with the Mr. Canucks grow, right? So that was
when
kind
you were
of
watching all that stuff.
exactly like it looked
Yeah.
so dope, right? Just running down the press and everything. So sorry.
All good. Oh, you also showed me that what was his name? Kush Hector.
Yeah, so that
You were showing me his profile too. That was some dope work.
that's what I was about to jump into. So shout out to Kush Hector. He's the one that inspired me to get into this type of shit. So I was already like following Mr. Canucks, doing all the stuff I've been talking about. But then I saw Kush Hector's shit and I was like, my God, man. Like, I love everything I've seen about weed, but I've never loved anything more than those fucking photos,
Yeah.
right? So I like absolutely fangirled over that shit,
And
brought
you're
them
like,
to my
I
mom.
want to do it.
Yeah, you know, like it was crazy, man. Like you know, through the story, how much my mom hated weed, and I bring her the photos and shit, and I'm like showing her, I'm like, look, like it's only a $50,000 setup, like I'll get there one day, you know what I mean? Like,
just got into the, took the cannabis and just attached the photography, right?
Exactly.
Like it's fucking pretty sick.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Kush Hector was a really good introduction into the photography side. So I was just following High Times, following things like that. Whole bunch of photographers, and decided to pick up the camera after doing it for a while. I was more at first thinking to do the Nug style shots. I wanted to do the macros, but after looking at Kush Hector's thing, I was like, "There's no fucking way. I can't afford this." You know what I mean?
It just looked too crazy to you, too out of grasp.
Not only is his work way too fucking good for one, imposter syndrome, like we were saying, but like crazy expensive setup, right?
Yeah. I've heard Sean over there has told me lots about the expenses of photography equipment.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, pretty crazy on that end. But I grabbed a prime lens and a camera, a 90D Canon 90D, and I was just shooting like the worst photos you've ever seen in your life. I have them on my Instagram somewhere still, just a couple of the bad ones, just so I don't forget my
just
roots.
To remind you. Yeah, exactly.
Most of them are iChat, but I got a couple just so I know how far I came. But yeah, at first it was brutal. It was like I'd pop a nug out of this, drop it on here, shoot a picture like this, and I'd be like, I'm a photographer. You know what I mean? It was horrible.
That's funny.
But that's how you start anything, right?
Yeah. Well, you're just getting into it.
Yeah. Like I knew I had a passion for it. I had explored photography in high school the tiniest bit. So I knew the general idea of a camera. And I'm not really a big camera person. Like on social media, I've never posted anything all my life really outside of this stuff.
Got you.
Like at all, really.
Yeah,
I never Snapchat, Instagram, anything. So I'm not really a big person on that, but I really love the idea of like taking outward photos, like landscapes and whatever, right? Pets and so on. So when the two passions kind of collided, it was kind of like a given.
Just hooked.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I loved everything about the trichomes and the different colors and seeing when you're going to harvest and whatever. I was already doing it, so I may as well just do it and capture the picture at the same time, because when you're harvesting anyway, you're looking through the louve and everything, right? So
yeah,
you may as well just at the same time shoot your shot, right?
100%.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool, for sure.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you take that and start taking pictures for other people, other than that first event?
Yeah, so after that, at that first one, I met them, like I said, shot for the Tetherbuds team. After that, I think it was probably them a couple times, to be honest. I probably shot for them 2 times before I shot for anybody else officially.
Sorry, and that's who?
Tetherbuds. Yeah, big
shout out to Tetherbuds.
Absolutely. Appreciate everything they've done for me. They're amazing people. Yeah, so Tetherbuds was the first couple events I shot. And then I got permission from somebody to shoot the Karma Cup that year, which was really dope. Really dope experience. Yeah. Yeah. And then I got a couple GTA Got Loud events from there, if you've heard of.
Yeah.
They're dope people again, right? Yeah. Another amazing person.
All these events are dope.
Yeah, for real. That's what I love about it, man. Like that's the thing. I haven't, like I said, passionless kid. I hadn't found anything in life that was like, oh, this is actually, you know what I mean? And then you hit these communities, and that's why I love the macros. I absolutely do. But so much of my photography is the event photography, because everybody's like, they're having so much fun. They're you know, it's
part of it too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Exactly.
That's cool. Showing the community is an awesome thing to do as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Because other people have to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool to get it out there for the world, right?
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean, when you think about it, like for instance, the magazine,
That's what I was just gonna ask you about.
they've never even experienced that, right? Like it's
So-
the only way for them to live the event is through the photos and the articles, right?
For a second here, these are a couple of magazines he brought here, and he's got a featured. What do you have in them?
Yeah, I got a couple photos featured in both of them. The June issue, it's just photography. I think there's 4 or 5 macros, full pages. In the July issue, I have a article on a walkthrough for Grow Up.
That's a nice one.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And I got a couple other macros in there as well. And then,
Sorry, which one do you have the macros in, or both?
Both, yeah. So
nice.
I got quite a few macros in this guy here. This one has macros. It also has, if you see right here, a little walkthrough through Grow Up. So it's like I did a little article on Grow Up as well as doing photos for this one.
Cool.
Basically just describing for people that weren't there, like what went down, what it's like alongside the photos, right? So true magazine type shit. But
yeah. And that's Dank Magazine.
Dank Magazine, amazing people again, literally like super proud of how far they've come just to even have this on the table, to be honest. So yeah, definitely shout out to them. But that was the next big thing. I started getting into the events, and then I started hitting up different magazines after a while, different brands, different grows, different retail stores, doing the entire grind. I got these business cards, bring them to every event. Yeah, do your thing, brother. Yeah. So I bring those guys everywhere and hand those out to everybody. And that was a really cool step going forward, getting the magazine publications, getting making it more official, starting to build the website, starting to build the portfolio.
So you're building a website?
Yeah, the website's in the works. I super wanted to have it published before this, but I'm just...
That's okay.
I'm not really that computer type kid. My mom is for sure. She does that type of stuff for a living, so it's going to be easy for me when the time comes.
Yeah.
She's busy herself, right? So can't really just shoot that up. But
yeah,
I definitely want to get that going, get the portfolio up. I take these everywhere and drop them off to like retail stores and stuff too, like around the city. Okay. You know what I mean? So I basically from there just went out, started trying to connect with everybody I could, magazines, retail stores, events, yada, yada, right?
Fuck yeah. On the grind.
Yeah, trying my best.
Yeah,
trying my best.
100%.
I come in here, you know what I mean? Shout out to you guys. So, thank
you.
Of course. Doing whatever I can to try and get my name out there. And I hit up maybe 25 magazines, 50 magazines. I don't even know. It became a blur. You know what I mean? A lot of them accepted my photos or accepted interest or whatever. A lot didn't even answer, which is cool. But these guys and High Moon Magazine did answer, and very, very respectfully awesome people. So I really wanted to rock with them for sure.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the first publication for a magazine ever was High Moon Magazine. So shout out to those guys. That was really awesome, and I appreciate that. And then from there, I decided to go full swing into Dank Magazine. I'm super committed. I'm actually on the contributors page there.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it. So it's super proud of
thing.
Yeah, and
get you out there more too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they do the digital
and
as
the
well.
prints. Yeah. And I mean, man, honestly, like the quality is freaking amazing, right? Like, it's hit and miss with this type of stuff. Like when you go into a convenience store and you feel the magazine, even sometimes they're like Archie comics or something.
Fair,
I mean,
fair. Paper thin.
I'm really impressed.
Yeah, no,
honestly.
it feels very nice.
Just because we're such a small team, like that's the whole team of 6, right? So it's really cool that we've come so far just in the matter of like 4 or 5 months or whatever, right? So super proud of them for sure. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, well, I think that's about where we're gonna end. I want to hit a dab, so let's do that quickly, and then we'll do a wrap and say fucking cheers, bud.
Absolutely. I got one loaded in here, quick, so I'm just gonna hit it real fast.
Yeah. Smoke that.
Yeah, this is a really coolie rig. The reason I went with this one over like any like Carta or anything is because the glass pops out.
Proper.
Pretty cool,
proper.
Eh?
Yeah, kind of like the Peak.
Yeah.
I had a Peak, but the battery's dead. Doesn't fucking charge. It's done. All right, man. Well, fuck. It was awesome having you out, bro.
Yeah, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you
you.
for bringing some shit to show off, telling us your story,
Absolutely.
sharing your passion with us, and fucking, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you. Absolutely.
Anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be dope.
Yeah, do some shout outs.
Yeah, a couple of people I could shout out for sure. Obviously, we already did Dank Magazine and Tether Buds, but we're going to re-shout out Dank Magazine and Tether Buds because they're that awesome.
Fire.
Want to shout out my mom and dad for being hella supportive for all the shit that they don't support.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for that. I know it's been a tough road, but I promise it will get somewhere. And yeah, shout out to all the homies that I've met along the way, all the community event organizers, you guys, friends, bud tenders that I rock with, everybody, man, all you guys. I appreciate all you, and you guys are the reason I do this, right? It's a passion at the end of the day, and I really, really appreciate you having me here to share that passion, man, honestly. So
Fuck yeah.
shout out
Thank
bro.
you, bro. Thank you.
Of course, man.
To everyone out there, if you enjoy what we're doing, make sure to like, follow, and share on YouTube at High Passion Pod and Instagram and Spotify at High Passion Podcast. If you want to keep up with our guests today, drop them a follow on Instagram at the Plants Apprentice _. I want to give a big shout out to Sean Sweeney at SeanCS10 for making everything happen and everything you do for the podcast. And to all our viewers, I hope you tune in next time. And until then, stay positive and stay passionate.